Strong Tower Financial Hour, where we help you tackle financial issues no matter how big or small. We help people go from being broke and scared to having hope with a plan. And now, here is your host, the owner and lead financial coach at Strong Tower Consulting, Justin Bennett.
And we are live here at the Webcast One studios. It is the Strong Tower Financial Hour, where we do help people from being broke and scared, and we give them hope with a plan. Thank you very much for joining us. Again, I am Justin Bennett, your host, and thank you for joining us. If you missed last week, you missed an excellent show, a theme of college and how to save for college and how to cash flow college if you didn't save for college. So if you missed that, please go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/StrongTowerIowa. You will go there and see the video from that show. Just lots of good things on there to check out. And today's show is no different. Our theme this hour is small business. How to start a small business, what to do if you're running a small business, and if you're a small business with employees, thinking about maybe offering some retirement offerings. And so we have Adam Ulbricht on our show today with AO Wealth Advisory, and we'll talk about those retirement offerings. We'll also talk with Luke Reese of Reese Builders. He is the owner of that, and he has also been a small business coaching client of mine. You hear me all the time. We talk about doing personal finance coaching. We also do small business coaching. And Reese Builders, at the company he owns and operates, has done well. And we want to talk a little bit about that. And maybe you sitting here watching this or listening on the podcast, you'd like to start your own business, but do not know where to begin. We are going to talk about how to start your very own business. Well, thank you again for joining us. Again, as a part of our show today, we have Adam Ulbricht with AO Wealth Advisory. How are you, Adam?
Doing well today.
We are in May.
Yes, I love it.
May 1, the weather's awesome. Going to get a little colder, but that's okay.
Yeah, I didn't receive a May basket today, but that's okay.
So, Adam, you work with, folks not only individually, but businesses. Tell us a little about what you offer to businesses in terms of retirement accounts.
Yeah, there's a lot of options in the retirement world and businesses. And it really gets down to what is the employer willing to contribute? And also, does he want the employees, him or her want the employees to be engaged in the process? Do they even have any employees? That's kind of one of the first criteria is you have employees or not. And then we look at how much you want willing to commit to it.
Very good. Now, after you've done that kind of analysis, there's obviously 401ks and 403bs and SEPs and those things. Walk us through a little bit, the 30,000-foot view of what those are and what does that mean to the small business owner? Yeah,
small business owners, it really comes down to three basic types of plans. And there's variations of them, but a SEP, a simple IRA plan, and then 401ks. The SEP allows for only employer money. The simple allows for both employee and employer money, and the 401k as well, employee and employer money.
So taking the plane down a little bit, explain a little bit more detail the difference. I mean, you said one is strictly for the employer, one is strictly for the employee. Is there any more details you can give us on those?
Yeah, and so let's look at an employer that doesn't have any employees. Sole practitioner, maybe has contract employees. The SEP or the 401k is really what they're going to look at. And the SEP allows up to 25% of their net to go into the plan. So if they made X amount of dollars times 25%, that's how much can go in the plan in the year as a tax deduction. It's kind of like an IRA on steroids is what that one is. It's very simple, very easy to set up, and actually have up until tax extension deadlines to set it up. So if you've extended your return for 2012, you can still do a SEP for 2012.
Very cool.
The next level is the 401k. If you don't have any employees, you can do an individual 401k, a little cheaper to operate, sometimes no administrative fees, sometimes about $500 a year administration fees. But you can defer and match on that one, so you can get a higher dollar amount into it, up to the plan limits, which is a little bit over $40,000 a year.
Got you. And so as you meet with small business owners, what are some of the fears that they go through when they're that you help kind of get rid of some of the myths that they're afraid of, whether they've never offered a retirement plan before and they're coming to you for guidance, or maybe they're using someone else and they're not getting good service, and so they're afraid they're just going to switch. What kind of fears do you go through, and how do you walk them through that and guide them?
Yeah, the biggest fear normally is that, hey, I had a good year this year, but I'm a small business. How do I know about next year? How do I know my future cash flows? What am I committing myself to that I may not be able to fund? Because there are some back-end penalties that can be pretty severe to a business owner if they aren't able to continue to fund it. And that's where like the simple and the 401k, normally you're looking at about 3% of payroll is your commitment out of pocket. If you can handle that extra bump, and I've had some small business owners say, hey, I'm not going to give my employees a raise this year. I'm going to put in a 401k or a simple IRA plan for them because they don't want to overcommit themselves.
And how does that go over with the employees? So they, that they when they find out that they're offering a retirement account, I got to believe they're going, yes, this is a good thing, right?
Yeah, most of them, they know it's good. They want to see a retirement plan in place, and it really does help retain employees. That's one of the big things of why I have a 401k plan is it's an additional employee benefit that retains employees in your company. If assuming you have good employees, you want to retain them, so this is a way to do that.
So next question I have for you is are there any that you would avoid? You said they're the three main ones. Are there any for the small business operator? Is there any that you would avoid as far as retirement plans are concerned?
It's not so much avoid, just know the order. And the SEP, Simple, and 401k is the basics. There's also defined benefit plans because these are all defined contribution plans. There's defined benefit plans that they kind of come in after you've done one of the others or after you've maxed it out. And then also not trying to overreach. A simple IRA plan is really easy to administer, deal with, and work with. You may not need a full 401k, especially if you as the owner are not going to try to max it out. So 401ks cost about $2,500 to $3,000 a year to administer. Simple IRA, $10 per account. Very big difference there. Obviously, some extra things you can do with the 401k you can't do with the simple IRA. But if you aren't maxing it out, that might be the best plan for you.
So as the advisor, what is it specifically you do? If I'm looking at bringing you on with my business and my employees, what as the advisor does Adam Olbricht do?
Yeah, in each plan it's a little different, but in general I help the employees with their investment choices. I help you as the small business owner figure out which plan fits it best and then bring the products or the vendors to the table to solve those problems. If it's a 401k, there's normally a third-party administrator involved as well to make sure you do follow all the rules. And then there's a platform of some type, whether it be a mutual fund platform or a annuity platform, hopefully not. But there's different types of products that exist, and that's what I bring to the table is I bring both the expertise to the employees as well as the products so that you don't have to go out and search and find the best one.
So as a business owner, bring you Adam Olbricht and what you do, my employees get to take advantage of getting that expertise from you then.
Yep. Yeah, and I have employee meetings usually about once a year. You have a sit-down employee meeting in the office. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes. I still encourage the employee to talk to a financial advisor and have a full discussion. But as it relates to just the plan, can kind of give them a little bit of guidance on what the plan offers, the investments that are in it. If they want to also use me as a more of the full than we do it outside of the office, because most people don't want to share their personal financial information at the office. Plus, I'm taking away from employer time. I don't want the employer paying them while they're sitting in front of me.
Absolutely. So when the employees talk to you in that 10 to 15 minute window, do they feel very comfortable? I mean, yes, they're not going to share their information, but do they walk away feeling like they gained the information that they were looking for?
I sure hope so. Most of the time, it's like, okay, great. I've got a plan or I've got at least action steps that I need to take, talking with a financial advisor, figuring out what their risk tolerances are so that they know which of the investment lineups they have. Most plans offer 20 to 25 investment choices, and so it can be very confusing. What do you choose? Also, on the investment choice side, there's a lot of target date funds or risk-based funds. Starting out, that might be a client's best option or employee's best option to go with those funds because they do offer a good risk allocation for somebody. And then as they get more experienced, as they get more in their account, then they can start choosing other options inside of the plan.
So as an advisor, there are lots of advisors out there. So Adam, what sets you apart as the guy that people should use for their small business and bringing on retirement offerings?
Yeah, for me, I really enjoy it, whether it's the individual client account scenario or whether it's a small business owner. It's how can I add value to what they do? How can we help them with on their earnings side and help them invest it wisely and reduce cost? This past year, I've done a lot of reducing costs inside of small business plans and 401ks by making sure we're on the proper platform. And that's kind of the things I bring to the table, and it's the expertise. A lot of times with advisors, it also comes down to personality. Am I the right personality to mesh with you as the business owner as well as with your employees?
And so what you're saying out loud is versus saying you need to be doing this. It's you listen first, gather information, then offer solutions of different options versus coming in, slamming a piece of paper down and saying, this is it.
Exactly. And there's a lot of times when you hear something and in the conversation, a small business owner will say something, you're like, oh, well, that if you really want to do that, then that steers us away from these plans. And it's not, well, here's a one-size-fits-all solution, because every small business owner is a little different. They're what they're willing to commit to and what they personally want to get out of the plan. And that's why the biggest piece of the tax savings and all that usually ends up to be what does the business owner personally get out of the plan in addition to helping the employees out.
So share with us a fun client story, whether it's a business owner or an employee from a business that's utilized your services, and just to show that you are the advisor of choice that people should be using. Yeah,
one of my favorites is a plan that it started out as a SEP IRA plan, and the employer wanted to be able to maximize it a little bit more. So we ended up moving it over to a full-fledged 401k. And now the account values, the average account values of the employees is significantly up. All of them are contributing to the plan. They also have the Roth option, not just a pre-tax option, so they can do more with it that way. I love going to their offices and having the annual meetings and seeing the account value changes and where everybody's at in the plan. And the business owner and I get together more often than that and talk about his personal things. And he's gone through a transition point of buying the business. The business is now debt-free. He's personally now debt-free. And he's been able to maximize out on the 401k side because of the success of the business. It's just been really fun to see that transition going from somebody that was earning $50,000 to $60,000 a year to being in that state 5 years later.
Wow, that is awesome to not only that, but to be debt-free and all those things. And the interesting thing too is just, for me, I always tell folks, I get more out of seeing clients win than any check they give me. And it sounds like you have the same thing.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of times when people are talking about, hey, do you own Apple stock or something like that? I'm like, I don't, but I have clients do, and I'm glad that it's doing, it's up or down, or obviously not glad if it's down, but that I take on the investments of what my clients have, and when they win, I feel like I win too.
Very good. Well, anything else that you'd like to share with us in the realm of small business and retirement accounts? Don't
be scared of them. That they really do help out you as a business owner as well as your employees.
Awesome. Well, Adam, as always, thank you for joining us on the show today. And when we come back here at the Strong Tower Financial Hour, we will have Luke Reese on with Reese Builders, someone who is taking advantage of small business coaching and how it is just making a business get better and better after this.
Leach, owner and general manager of Service Legends. I brought along a couple of the home comfort heroes.
Hi, I'm Tammy Wells.
I am Nick Wondershad.
I'm administrative manager.
I am the senior technician
from Service Legends.
It seems like every good thing, when you feel it to the bone that it's good, there's a lot of hard work put behind it. I don't think that you can fake it and have it turn out good.
If we seem like, okay, that's just weird, it's just a furnace, why would you believe so deeply in a furnace? It's not just that, we want to show the world that you can have good service.
Yeah, it's got to be, it's your home.
It's built into our daily trainings, it's built into our culture, that we're going to do whatever it takes to have each client say they love us, period.
That's why we spend all the hours in the training that we do. And if we guarantee it's going to be a good experience for you, or else it's free, what type of work do you think we're going to do?
There is a guarantee.
Temperature selection guarantee, fixed right or it's free guarantee, comfort guarantee, best value guarantee. All of these guarantees hold us accountable to ensuring that we exceed your expectations. And if for whatever reason we'd fail and we can't make it right, we guarantee all of those guarantees with a 100% money back guarantee.
If you don't think that your technician can fix it right, are you going to say that to a client? No.
You don't have to worry about having a technician come to your house.
We drug test, background check all of our team members. We put safe people in your home. Each and every one of our service techs, 400 hours a year in training.
You tell it the minute they walk in the door. They know what they're doing, they've done their homework, and they actually truly care about what you want.
Because at the end of the day, you're the person that makes sure I have a job.
They're going to be listening. They're going to want to know what your challenges are. Then they're going to come and give you options, and you get to choose.
If I'm there to help and I make it easy and painless, I did my job right that day.
Well, when it comes to your comfort, safety, and your family, you don't necessarily go buy the most expensive, but you get the most bang for your buck.
Oh, it's worth it, because there's a lot of people that will find a way to get it to work right now and then leave. and then come back, charge you again, and the cycle just repeats itself. So when I'm out there looking at the furnace, I want to find why it failed today. How can we change the part today with something that you're not going to have to worry about? Is it worth changing the part today? I mean, you can put a lot of money into a furnace. I can fix parts all day. There's good job security in that for me, but is it the right thing for you?
I get a lot of the phone calls of after the technicians are there. They're just in awe. They're like, wow, you guys are great. I mean, I don't even know what to say. You guys are great. Everything you did was perfect. It was great.
Keep going though, I like this.
Just give us a try. I'm gonna take all the risk.
I've got the time to make this right. I've got the support to make it right.
Just check us out.
And if you don't see the value in what we do,
I mean, fixed right or it's free or 100% money back.
enough said.
And we are back here at the Strong Tower Financial Hour. Thank you for joining us on our small business theme today. We just had Adam Olbricht on with AO Wealth Advisory talking about if you are ready to add retirement accounts to your company, how to do that. Later in today's show, we're going to talk about how to start your own business. Lots of folks out there have a desire or a dream to start their business, but they have no idea where to begin. We're going to talk about that as a part of the show today. But right now we have Luke Reese with Reese Builders, owner and operator. Luke sought me out about a little over a year ago for some small business coaching and has been doing very well. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But first, just want to welcome Luke to the show. How's it going, Luke?
Very good. Thank you. Glad I could be here.
You bet. So, Luke, tell us a little bit about yourself. Married, kids?
I'm married. Been married for 10 years. Have 2 children, 6, a boy, Jack, and Violet is 2. And they keep me busy when I'm not working.
Absolutely, I understand that. And so, what got you into number one, what industry are you in, and what got you into that industry?
I'm in construction and finished carpentry or trim carpentry. I realized in high school that I did not want to be stuck in an office. I wanted to be out and about and using my hands. It's usually a different job site every week. So we get a lot of variety. Variety is the spice of life. That's my opinion. So
good. Very good. Well, how long have you been in the construction industry, both before you started your own business as Reese Builders and with Reese Builders?
Total about 13 years. I started Reese Builders 11 and a half years ago.
Very good. And so 11 and a half years ago is when
I started the trim carpentry side, correct. Yep. I did some remodeling before that.
Very good. So what was it? What was the moment that you said, you know what, I need to go seek out some advice here?
Well, I've been in business, like I said, 11 and a half years, and 10 years is quite a while. And when you don't see much of a difference, you're still plugging away, still seeing the same numbers on your tax return. You start to think twice about what am I doing wrong, what am I doing right. And I'm kind of a self-driven, motivated person. I like to always better things. If I can always tweak something a little bit, change it, it's very beneficial to me. So I just started thinking that I need to get some help. I can't do this on my own. It's hard to stay in the field, keeping your daily operations running, and also back at your home office trying to figure out what are we doing this next year, where are you going, how are we going to create business, how are you going to perform better for the customers, how are you going to get more customers, all those types of things.
Very good. And I don't know if you remember, we met actually at a business seminar that I hosted with Entre Leadership one-day event. And so tell me, Luke, when you first said, okay, I went to see Justin, did the free 30-minute consultation thing, we're going to move forward. Were you nervous? Were you scared? Going, oh my goodness, I'm about ready to have some guy come into my baby, my business.
Actually, I would say neither. I was actually more unsure. I wasn't nervous, but I didn't, on the other hand, know what to expect. I was hopeful, but I would say just unsure of really what was going to happen next.
That's okay. So we've been working together for a while now. Tell the listeners or the viewers, what are the couple big things that you would say, wow, this process, having Justin help me with my business, has been a huge help for my business?
I would say couple of the main items I have, is just not losing focus at where you're going. All the daily things, there's always something that you have to work through, whether it's with an employee, with the customer, on the job. And it's very easy to lose the focus of, okay, where am I actually going? What are my goals? What's the focus for this year, for the next 30 days, depending on how you break it down. But I've been able to use you for bouncing ideas off of goal setting, personal motivation. I meet with Justin once a quarter, so it kind of pressures me to make sure I'm okay. Am I getting my stuff done that we talked about, so I don't look bad when I come back?
Nothing like good old-fashioned accountability.
That it helps a lot. It might sound simple, but if you don't have it, you're not moving forward.
Well, I'd even stop right there and just say that what's interesting, because I'm a small business owner as well, and we get, as business owners, so wrapped up in our business, it's hard to take time away from the business. We know we need to. We know to grow, we've got to, but we look at our calendars and we're going, I don't know how we're going to fit this in, and the only way you can is just saying it's a priority. We have to do it. Very
true. That's something in business ownership, like you said, is making a priority.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So one of the things too, since you're a small business owner now, how many employees do you have?
I have 4 full-time employees and 1 part-time at the moment.
And so one of the things that we also do, because your wife plays a little bit of a role in this business as well, and we have her come in as well when we do these coaching sessions. Do you find that beneficial? Not? What does she think about it? Those things.
I find it beneficial. I was unsure at the beginning, but it's nice to have her bounce ideas off of, and she can chime in and say, no, you actually said this, correct me and stuff like that. So I find it very beneficial.
So she likes it just to get you back on track then.
I wouldn't say that, but
fun. So, so it sounds like for both of you has increased communication as it, where you're both feeling like you're on the same page, because a lot of times what couples don't realize, whether it's a wife owning a business or a husband owning a business, the other half plays a huge role, if anything else, just a supportive role. Would you agree?
I would agree wholeheartedly. If you don't have the support at home, it's going to make your life miserable at work.
So what would you tell other companies that may be considering, small business owners considering using Justin to help guide them for small businesses? What would you share with them to help maybe eliminate some fear or doubt that this would work for them?
As a general rule of thumb in life, it's good to have guidance. No matter what you're doing, personal business, family, it's good to get either counseling, good advice. And I was just struggling with there's many things I was struggling with, but I would say if you're worried about the money, I felt like it paid off the first session. I wouldn't worry about that. Justin's great to work with. I didn't feel uncomfortable at all. I felt like he, was very easy to talk to, and anything that we share is kept confidential. So I'd say put your fears aside, jump in.
There you have it. That just takes care of that. So helped you stay focused on your goals. That was one thing. What were some other things as far as coaching has helped you with besides just the focus of your goals?
Being a small company, we get a lot of employee situations that are unsure. I like to make positive choices and not regret them. So I know I've talked quite a bit with you about specific employees, and here's what we're struggling with. What's your thoughts? What's the general thought? That was something that's helped a lot. And anybody that has a small business with employees knows that's always a ongoing, I don't want to make it sound negative, but it's just an ongoing battle that you always have to work on.
Well, and when you care for your employees, which you do, you care for your employees, there's a balance between how do I care for my employees, shepherd them, if you will, and then not just give them the farm. And not to make this analogy make any employee seem less, but it's like children. And not that they're children, but just the whole dichotomy of you got to shepherd them and guide them and help them grow in themselves as you're growing the business. That's a big responsibility.
It is.
But it's a very worthwhile to do that. I know it is for me, and it probably is for you as well.
Yes, it is. And I enjoy the shepherding part too. I try to keep up on my guys, and not just with work, but how's life going? You know, it makes a difference if you care for your employees.
Absolutely. Now, explain again to our listeners exactly Reese Builders. So you do trim work, kind of explain that, and you're even adding on kind of a new product line and service that you do. Kind of explain those things.
I do furnished carpentry work, which entails a lot of the wood work in your house. A lot of people struggle with what I do exactly, but if you picture a house in the drywall stage, no trim, that's usually where I come in on new construction. And so we hang doors, case base, any built-ins, fireplaces. And then the new benefit that Justin mentioned was I'm trying to add a fireplace remodeler side, either a new fireplace surround, remodel the current fireplace with a new mantle built in on the side, crown molding, any details that you would like.
And so if anyone want to get a hold of you to help do their trim or to do fireplaces, how would they get a hold of Luke Reese?
My phone number is 515-201-8944, or you could check us out on my website. It's www.reesebuilders.com.
Very good. And we'll make sure later today we'll get the YouTube video up, put it on your Facebook, and that way people can come, hopefully call you and ring you in for some trim work or some fireplace work. But just going back to the business here, if you had to say start over, if you could look back 10 years ago and say start over, what choices would you make different now going through this coaching process if you were to start over?
The biggest thing I think I would change would be to start with the better plan. I just started working and thought I'll just work and things will start coming together, and you know, I did okay, but nothing ever really changed. I just kind of kept plugging away at the same old speed, and I never really had a good plan. It's a big question that I keep asking myself over and over again is, did I choose the right industry? We don't get to choose when we're born or where we're put, you know, if the economy's doing well or bad. So you kind of have to work around that.
Well, and the good news is last year, I know you had a record year in sales. Obviously, we're not going to go disclose numbers, but you had a record year last year, and you're adding a staff, you're adding products, you're adding services. That's anything a business would like. So good job, Luke. You're doing well as a business owner. So keep up the good work.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Luke. Luke Reese with Reese Builders, guys. Make sure to check him out. He is awesome at what he does. I've seen his house. He is awesome. When we come back, we're going to teach you how to start your own business. And then we're also going to do a special segment on how to tackle debt coming up.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Drug and alcohol addiction slowly steals a person's identity, tearing away pieces of their life little by little until one day it seems like the hope of a happy future is gone and there's no chance of getting it back. Here at St. Gregory Retreat Centers, we can assure you that there is hope. Our unique approach to recovery begins with the understanding that the dysfunction and damage caused by addiction can be overcome, not just dealt with. Don't let another day go by. Call St. Gregory today.
My name is Justin Bennett with Strong Tower Consulting, where we passionately coach individuals, families, and businesses to make better financial decisions that help create success and eliminate financial stress. I offer a free 30-minute consultation where we find out where your situation is. I explain how I do my coaching services. Then it's up to you whether you want to continue. The Bible has, depending on who you believe, 800 to 2,000 scriptures that talk about money alone. So pretty important subject in God's eyes. That's one of the things that I enjoy doing, is help them see God's ways of handling money. You know, it's interesting, most people that I ask, what would it be like to be debt-free? The common response is, I don't know. I don't think it's possible. But in 90 days, most of my clients go from, I don't think it's possible, to, I'm excited. In 2 years or less, I will be debt-free. There's no tricks, no gimmicks, nothing being sold here. It's just learning how to do money well. This is Strong Tower Financial Hour, where we help people go from being broke and scared to having hope with a plan.
Hi, I'm J. Michael McCoy for Adam Albrecht, financial planner and AO Wealth Advisor. Adam, tell the folks listening today, just who is Adam Olbrecht?
I am a certified financial planner, and I created AO Wealth Advisory a couple years ago to be able to help people with their finances all the way from basic budgeting on to retirement and estate planning.
All right, now that we know who you are, what do you do? How do you help people?
I help people by focusing on 3 key areas, on what they earn, how they invest it wisely, and then also where they give it on, whether it's onto charity or onto family, but do it from a biblical base, using verses that have been around forever, transcendent knowledge that's been around 4,000 plus years.
Call Adam Olbrecht, a financial planner with AO Wealth Advisory. Give us your number, Adam.
Yeah, 515-224-7849.
Advisory services offered through Investment Advisors Corp., an SEC-registered investment advisor. Securities offered through Broker Dealer Financial Services Corp., members FINRA and SIPC. Thanks for watching.
Because I heard you say there's gonna be brighter days. It's gonna be brighter days.
And we are back here at the Strong Tower Financial Hour, where we do help people from being broke and scared, and we give them hope with a plan. And we just got done talking to Luke Reese with Reese Builders, and just been fun watching him as a client grow, his business grow. We just had a conversation off air, and it was real fun. He was like, you know what? Not only, Justin, after I paid you the fee and I felt like I got my money back after the first session, I haven't worried about money since. I mean, that's huge. And so I'm just excited. Their business is just growing and booming and doing well. And again, today is a small business theme hour. And earlier on the show, we had Adam Olbrecht with AO Wealth Advisory talking about how to add retirement plans to your business, whether you're just a sole proprietor, just you, or you've got employees and you want to help them as well. But maybe some of you out there would like to start your own business. You have a dream, a desire, or a goal. Maybe you don't like to be told what to do by somebody else and you want to own your own destiny. How do you start your own business? And that question is very common because usually it's the fear of not knowing how to start your own business is what prevents a lot of people from being able to do it. So in our short segment here, we're going to go over some of the key things as you're looking at starting a business to do. Now, this is not an exhaustive list or a comprehensive list, but these are some basic things based on what I've learned from doing right and wrong in starting a business and also through business coaching. So let's go through those. First thing is do something that you love. Do something with you're passionate about. I can't remember who said it, but the term was said this: make your vocation your vacation. You don't want to, if you don't like animals, I do not recommend you starting a vet practice. Doesn't make any sense. If you don't like to do numbers, I wouldn't recommend starting your own career as being a financial consultant or a financial advisor. But if you like, say, houses, it might be good to become your own boss as a realtor. Or maybe you like to build and do like Luke Reese did and start your own building company. Different things. So first off, do what you're passionate about. That is so critically important. Next, as you begin to set up your business, I can't say this strong enough. Be sure to separate your personal finances from your business finances. That is absolutely important. Do not run your business through your personal accounts or you will create a cobweb of a mess. You won't know up from down and you're going to be stressed. Please split them up. Set up just a simple business checking account and a business savings account to put in what we call retained earnings. We'll talk about more about what retained earning is in a second, basically just business savings. And all the income or the revenue you receive as a business owner goes into your business checking account. If you have net profit and you want to put a percent back, you put that into business savings, what we call retained earnings. When you have business expenses, whether it's separate rent, separate utilities, or what have you, pay that through your business checking. So if you're a beginner small business owner and it's just you, really your checkbook becomes what we call in an accounting world a profit and loss statement. Profit, how much money have you brought in? Loss, how much expense went out? And then you either have a net profit or you have a loss on your business. And you'll pay yourself from this business. So as you begin to pay yourself from this business account, let's say you're going to pay yourself $2,000 this month or $10,000 this month, whatever you made and however you're going to pay it. You simply write a check from the business account to the personal account to you personally, and that way it keeps everything nice and separate. Now, while you're doing that, be sure to save back money for taxes. Good rule of thumb, this is not for everyone, but a good rule of thumb for most people is save 25% of what you're paying yourself back in taxes, because you are going to have to pay taxes that are due on the income you have made. So make sure you do that. Now, I mentioned retained earnings. What is retained earnings? Believe me, I would have heard this when I started my business, because that would have been a huge deal. A retained earnings is a fancy word for business savings. And there's multiple reasons why you need a business savings account. Number one, income is up and down, up and down, up and down. You may need a operating expense savings account, as we're calling it, retained earnings. So if the income doesn't come in enough, or the revenue is not high enough to pay the bills, you've got some money set aside to make sure you're paying the bills, paying payroll, and you're not stressed out and freaked out. How am I going to do that? The other nice thing about a retained earnings account is this. As a business owner, there are investment opportunities, and I'm not talking so much about Roth IRAs and mutual funds, but maybe there's a piece of equipment that you would really help your business. You can't afford it, but maybe another business like yours is going out of business, or there's an auction, or you could go get something at 10 cents on the dollar. So a $1,000 piece of equipment you could go get for $100. It would be nice to have some money parked called retained earnings. So if you have investment opportunities to help grow your business, the money is sitting there and you're not having to rob from the business checking account, or really trying to find other clients or other opportunities real quick because you got a limited time to go get this deal. And so when it comes to retained earnings, you want to put a percent back of net profits into your business. Net profits simply is your revenue, or the income generated, minus your business expenses. That number left over is your net income. Out of that, take a percent of that and put that into retained earnings. Now, there's not a magic number, but here's an example. Let's say your goal is to put 10% of net profit into retained earnings, and you made $10,000 in gross revenues that month. You had $8,000 in expenses. $10,000 minus $8,000 is $2,000 net profit. And if you were going to take, say, 10% of your $2,000, you would put $200 over here in said retained earnings. Or if it's 20%, if that's the percent you'd like to do, it would be $400 of that $2,000 going into retained earnings. Again, it's basically an emergency fund for your business. It helps with cash flow in your business. And then lastly, for investment opportunities as you're growing, and especially when things come out on the scene very dirt cheap. One of the things that you're going to be looking at when starting a business is, are you going to start it as a sole proprietor, as an LLC, or an incorporation, what normally called an S Corp or C Corp? Now, I'm not going to go into the specific details. I'm not a tax advisor or an accountant, but what I can tell you is this. If you're starting something from the home, or you're doing a very basic business, sole proprietor is really all you need. The time to jump from sole proprietor to LLC or incorporated is when you've got some serious dollars coming in, both in revenue and expenses, and really at the end of the day, you become a target. Someone could sue you and it would make a dent in you. That's when you'd want to go LLC or incorporated. The only other way I would recommend that is if you're in a field of where getting sued regularly is just part of the package. So if you're doing something where there's a lot of legal issues that may happen and you don't want to lose your stuff personally, then it would be worth considering an LLC or incorporation. But do not be worried about being sued all the time if you're not entering into a field where that is just not normal. The other thing is, do a budget. Exactly like we talk about in personal finances, you need to be doing a brand new budget every month, and do it before the month begins. So right now, today is May 1. Let's pretend it's April 30th. By yesterday, if you're a small business owner, you would want a business budget created for May. Your projected revenues based on all your different income streams that come in from that, your projected expenses, and you want to make that balance like we do in our personal budget. Income minus expenses equals zero. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, Justin, that is next to impossible as a small business owner. Well, when you get started, it is. And Zig Ziglar says a great saying, anything worth doing awesome is worth doing poorly. Think with me for a moment, if you were learning how to play darts, I don't know if you ever played darts before, but basically you have this dart board about yay around, and you have darts that you throw little points at the end, and the goal is to get as close to the bullseye as possible. And then there's all these other numbers, and you can triple this and double that. And if you're playing a point game, you want to aim it just right and hit it. I don't know about you, but when I first learned how to play darts, I didn't know how to throw it, and if I hit the dartboard, I was happy. Then it got to where if I could get into this range of the bullseye, I would be happy. And then, still haven't reached that yet, if I could get the bullseye consistently, that's where I'm going. Same is true with your budget, both in personal and business. You're projecting. And the first month you try to project this, you are going to be off. That's okay. We're learning. The second month, you're going to be off. The third month, you're going to be off. But each month, you're not going to be as off. Most businesses have seasonalities. You know, for example, if you run a mowing business, probably not going to be mowing lawns in December in Iowa. You know what that means? Revenue is going to go down, way down, unless you offer another product or service like, say, plowing snow, et cetera, et cetera. And so every month, you're looking, okay, based on the calendar, I think I'm going to make this much revenue. Put that down. Here's all my expenses, my fixed expenses, my variable expenses, my non-monthly expenses, my taxes. We put all of that in there. And then at the end of the day, does that balance? If it doesn't, we know we need to get some revenue in a hurry and or reduce some expenses. If we have extra, that's great. What percent of that's going to go to retained earnings? What percent is that going to go to the business? What percent is going to go as a bonus to me, the owner? Lots of those things, but do a brand new one every month. A year from now, if you do business budgets every month from a year, you're going to have a year worth of doing this. Not only do you have the muscle and the character of doing this, now you can look back and go, okay, what really happened? And you're going to get better at projecting, these are the months I make more revenue. These are the months that have higher expenses. These are the months when I need to do this or do that. If you are not budgeting, if all you are doing is looking at P&Ls and just asking your accountant to print off stuff, you are only looking through the back mirror of your car. You're not looking forward in the windshield. And anybody that doesn't look forward in the windshield when it comes to their budget and their money, they're not going to win. They're going to be spinning. That's one of the big things we help with Reese Builders with Luke is get in any of my other small business clients. Most businesses don't do this, and this is a huge part. Another huge part of owning a business is do not go into debt. Just like in personal business, personal finance, there is no reason to go into debt, ever. You do not need to go into debt. You don't need to go in debt for a building. You don't need to go in debt for, to have an operating account. So when seasonality is slow, debt magnifies risk. And the thing I learned in business, and Dave Ramsey, I thought, said this very accurately, and that is that most small business owners, actually probably all small business owners, if they're successful, if they're still going, they're standing on a pile of failures. Because if you're a business owner, you need to have a lot of energy and intensity, and you got to be willing to get kicked a lot because there's a lot of getting kicked around because you're learning how to do this thing, and that's okay, that's normal. But you're gonna have all these ideas. If you're like me, I dream a lot. I have an idea when I wake up, an idea in the shower, an idea while I'm eating breakfast, idea on my commute. I've got 29 ideas a day coming. Most of them aren't good. I'd like to say they are, but they're not. If I go into debt for said not good idea, that's how businesses go out of business. Yes, if it makes a lot of money, it's great, but if it doesn't, we're in trouble. So no debt in the business. There's a lot of other things to cover when it comes to starting your own business. If you are interested in small business coaching or starting your own business, go to my website, strongtowerconsulting.com. Click on the free consultation link. There's a checkbox for small business, and I would happy to just have a sit-down conversation with you and find out how I can help you start your business. When we come back, we're going to do a special edition here on tackling debt. What are the perceptions and realities when it comes to going into debt when we come back?
drink, dance, party. Kitty's is the ultimate dance club in Des Moines. A huge dance floor with room to move, 3 bars to keep your drinks full, and kickin' DJs playing all your favorite dance music. At Kitty's, we've always got your birthday party planned with Birthday Fridays. That's right, when your birthday rolls around, there's only one place to go. Gather up your friends and head to Kitty's, where you drink free on the Friday of your birthday week. Find out more about Birthday Fridays at kittiesusa.com. Kitty's, all kinds of people, all kinds of music, all kinds of fun.
Drug and alcohol addiction slowly steals a person's identity, tearing away pieces of their life little by little until one day it seems like the hope of a happy future is gone and there's no chance of getting it back. Here at St. Gregory Retreat Centers, we can assure you that there is hope. Our unique approach to recovery begins with the understanding that the dysfunction and damage caused by addiction can be overcome, not just dealt with. Don't let another day go by. Call St. Gregory today.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Hi, my name is Steve Bensmo with RE/MAX, where a house becomes a home. And when your host, Justin, wanted to sell his home, he gave me a call. I want to share a little bit about my buying philosophy when I work with home buyers. I always want to make sure that people are taking into consideration what home they can afford, not what home they think they can afford. So I ask a question around if they've really looked at what their budget looks like for buying a home. And there's for 2 reasons. One, I do not want my clients calling me in 2 to 3 years to do a short sale. I want people to be able to order pizza on Friday night and not be worried about the mortgage on Monday. So if you're looking for a home to buy, you want someone on your side to make sure you're buying the right home for you right now, give me a call at 515-257-6531. Again, that's 515-257-6531. Or check me out on Facebook. Again, I'm Steve Bensmo with RE/MAX, where a house becomes a home, and I'm looking forward to working with you. Thanks.
And evening fades, you inspire.
We are back here at the Strong Tower Financial Hour. Thank you for joining us. This whole show today, this week that we've had is on small business. And if you missed what we talked about, please go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/StrongTowerIowa. That's where we post right now our YouTube videos after the show. Thank you very much for being a part of the listenership, the viewership. We appreciate that. Proverbs 22:7. Even if you're an atheist and don't believe in the God in the Bible, you'll nod your head like a bobblehead on this proverb. And that is, the rich rules over the poor and the borrower is slave to the lender. And there are a lot of people hurting right now financially. And if you were to ask me what's the number one reason why, it's because they're in debt, and a lot of it, whether it's credit cards, car loans, student loans, overdraft protection. And I always ask my clients in a free 30-minute consultation, I ask them, so if you were debt-free, how would that feel? And they go, wow, Justin, if I could get this debt off my back, it'd be awesome. Well, in order to do that, we need to get rid of some illusions or perceptions and get some realities. We're going to put a graphic on the screen, and I want you to look at this graphic, and I want you to ask yourself this question. Which one of those is your favorite debt? I mean, we all have them, right? I mean, you got student loans out there, line of credit, car, timeshare, credit card. Maybe you owe your parents or some friends some money. Which one of those is your favorite debt? I'm just kidding. Probably not a favorite debt, but we keep these debts around like we actually like them or something. And so what we're going to do today is I'm going to go through real quick like 10 different perceptions when it comes to using debt as a tool. And that's actually the first perception. The first perception is that it is okay to borrow money. It is okay to use money or use debt to win. And the reality is there is no such thing as a good debt. Now, if you know me or get to know what I say long enough, I am okay with going into mortgage debt, and there's some limitations on that, and we don't have time for this segment. But I will tell you this as a whole. The perception or the reality of going into debt eats your cash, and you need cash to do the things that you need to do in life. There is no good reason to go into debt, and the rest of these perceptions we're going to go into. We'll talk about that. The second perception is that I need to be worried about my credit score because it's a huge deal. And actually, it's one of the hottest topics in personal finance. The reality is having a good score, all that means is you simply like debt. If you don't believe me, look at this graphic here. According to myfico.com, there are 5 major areas to the credit bureau. To your credit score. 35% of your credit score is a part of your debt payment history. 30% of your credit score is based on your debt levels. So if you're in a lot of debt, that hurts you. If you start paying off your debt, that hurts you. 15% of your score is based on the length of time that you're in debt. 10% of your score is based on type of debt, and 10% based on new debt. If you heard the one word that was in all 5 of those categories to compose your credit score is debt. The only way to have a credit score is debt. Now, isn't that interesting? We want to be debt-free. We don't want debt, but we want a good credit score. It's impossible to be debt-free and have a good credit score. So you basically have to choose which side of the fence do you want to be on. Do you want to have cash, peace of mind, and no debt? Or do you want to be broke and have a good credit score? Because I will tell you, most of the people that have a good credit score are broke. Even the ones with 800s. Now, are there people out there with an 800 credit score that look good financially? Yes, but they're rare. Most of them are not doing well financially. The third perception is I need a credit card. Because if I have a credit card, it's convenient, it's easy, I get airline miles, it's a good emergency fund, it's safer than cash, and I can't do things without it. The reality is cash works better. It may be a little bit more convenient. However, number 1, the airline miles are very rarely redeemed and they're hard to redeem. 2, why do you want to go further in debt when you have an emergency? That makes your life worse. You want to actually use a cash system called the emergency fund. Safer, actually, when it comes to identity theft, more identity thieves are more concerned about stealing your credit card information than your cash. And in the long run, when you actually use cash versus credit, you spend 12 to 18% more when you use credit cards instead of using cash. And so bottom line is, get away from those credit cards. They steal from your ability to build wealth and have peace. The next debt is that having an overdraft protection is good because I'm going to have overdrafts because I don't know what's going on in my life. The reality is when you have overdraft protection or an account, you are still paying fees. The bank doesn't offer this as a freebie. They make money. In fact, check this out. According to Time Magazine, overdraft charges for 2011 were $29.5 billion with a B, $29.5 billion in overdraft charges in 2011. Wow. It's not free, folks. So the reality is you need to begin to do a budget. We talk about budgets all the time as a part of what we do here at Strong Tower. It's all about doing the budget, because if you're doing a budget, you don't have any overdraft fees. Time and time again, when I meet new clients and after the first 30 days of working with them, and I ask them what victories, almost always the first victory comes out, we didn't have any overdrafts this month. So no, overdraft protection is a perception. It's not a reality. Next up, number 5, driving a newer car is safer and more reliable and will save me money. The reality is paid for cars is how you build wealth. The average car payment in America today is $464. I can't remember the exact number, but I believe if you were to invest that for every month for 20 years, that's like $5.6 million. Hope you like the car. Okay? And here's the interesting thing about cars. This is from another coach friend of mine. He had a client that had bought a 2000 Dodge Stratus. Now, I didn't bring graphics. I was going to bring graphics of these cars just to kind of give you an idea. He bought a 2000 Dodge Stratus in 2009. The car had a small fender bender, hail damage, and was missing a hubcap. But on the upside, it had only 107,000 miles on it. The engine ran great, and it would only cost him $1,000. He had the car for over 2 years, or now 3 or 4 years, but at the 2-year mark, he had only put 50,000 miles on it, which was 2 cents per mile. He'd done the usual maintenance of changing oil, wiper blades, and a set of new tires. Other than that, the car was very reliable. Didn't really ever break down. However, his spouse, his wife, had a 2011 brand new Dodge Journey, which was in the shop 3 times the first couple months they owned it. Here's the deal. Think about this. If the average car payment, rounding numbers, is $500, take that times 12 for 12 months, that's $6,000. I don't care what $2,000 car you buy, you would have to buy a real piece of work to have $6,000 going into fixing that car. You could get a new engine and a new transmission and still be money ahead than buying a brand new car. So that is a perception, not a reality. Number 6, combining my debts into one smaller payment is easier to manage. That is not true. It's a debt consolidation. It's a con. All you're doing is moving the money over. You didn't pay off any debt. Yeah, your cash flow might be better, but the reality is you didn't change your behavior. And when you don't change your behavior, all you're going to do is rack up more debt. When I was in the banking world, I did lots of debt consolidation loans, and a lot of those people came right back 2, 3, 4 years later, maxing out those same credit cards, saying, oh no, we need another home equity loan. Oh no, we need no debt consolidation loan. So debt consolidations are not good, and it's a perception. It is not a reality. Number 7, borrowing from friends and family. They'll understand. They'll be flexible on payments. They'll co-sign for you. The reality is now they're at risk and you're jeopardize your relationship. I used to be a banker. Do you know why I asked for a co-signer? The chances of them to pay me back as a banker were slim. Now, maybe if they were a brand new person as far as in the adult world, never borrowed money before, it's more of a safeguard. But most of the time when I did a cosign, and like any other banker or anyone who works at a credit union, the reason why they do that is they don't think you have when it comes down, when life gets tough, are you going to pay the bill? So guess what? When you cosign a loan for somebody, you get to pay the bill. Because if the primary borrower is not paying, then your mom or dad or your friend or relative is going to be getting a phone call from the banker. Yo, the loan that you just did as a cosign, you owe money on that. What? Junior's not paying on it? Uh-oh. And it's going to jeopardize the relationship. Don't do it. Number 8, borrowing from myself is smart because I'm paying myself the interest. There's a lot of finance magazines out there that say borrow from your 401k, borrow from your retirement account. The reality is when you do that, you are not only putting your retirement at risk, you are also going to be more than likely, depending on the state you are in, are going to be paying a 40 to 50% tax bill because there's a minimum 10% penalty plus your tax bracket. In some states, and Iowa is one, you pay tax on that on top of that. So in Iowa, I want to say it's around 44 to 45% when you take money out of your retirement account. So ask yourself this question. Would you go to a bank and borrow money at 45%, 50% rate of interest? No. That's what you're doing when you're borrowing on a retirement account. It's like getting charged that interest. Not only that, the part that you unplugged from your 401k is no longer making any money. It's just out there until you pay it back. Here's an interesting story. A client story here. Had a client who wanted to borrow, I think it was like $28,000 from his 401k. And I said, no, it's a bad idea because when you leave your company and you'll leave, you either quit, die, or or they'll fire you. Oh no, I'm awesome. I've got a good relationship with the top executives and I'm doing awesome for them and everything's going well. I've got a good seat right here. I am not leaving this business. I love what I do. They love me. The problem was he didn't know the company was going so well that they got bought out. Company changed hands, changed names. He got to keep his job, but because now there's a new company, that 401k loan came due. He had 60 days to pay $26,000. Do you think he was able to come up with that $26,000 in 60 days without having to borrow it from somewhere else? Never borrow. I shouldn't say never. Rarely. The only time you ever want to even consider borrowing from a retirement account is if you're facing a foreclosure or a very disastrous situation, and those are very, very, very rare situations. Perception number 9 is I can hire someone to do this for me. Debt settlement companies, credit counselors. No one cares more about this than you. Now, there are good credit counseling agencies out there, but I'll tell you when it comes to debt settlement companies, almost all of them are bad. If you don't believe me, check out almost any state attorney general website, and there is a story after story. They are not big fans of these. You want to tackle this yourself. That's why we teach you as personal finance coaches. We teach you how to do this so you can do this yourself. And lastly, we're running out of time here. The last perception is I'm going to file bankruptcy. I'm going to get a fresh start and start over again. Now, number 1, if you are looking at going into bankruptcy, you need to seek the advice of a bankruptcy attorney first. I cannot give legal advice, but I will tell you this. If you file for bankruptcy, it is not the quick fix, atom bomb, start over that you would like it to be. And again, I can't go over all the specifics. We're running out of time today. But bottom line is no one cares more about your situation than you. I want to thank Ryan Northfield, our producer here, and thanks to Webcast One for using their studios. Thank you. This is the Strong Tower Financial Hour. Have a good day.
And authoritative information with regard to the subject matter covered. It is sold with the understanding that neither the radio host nor the station are engaged in rendering legal, accounting, or other professional advice. If legal advice or other expert professional assistance is required, the services of a competent professional should be sought.